All right, we are going to be talking about Ryan Reynolds' new film by Sean Levy, Free Guy. This came out last week, so full spoilers for this film. We're going to be talking about everything about it. So if you don't want to know anything about it, skip ahead, pause, whatever you want to do. Just full spoilers. You've been warned. So what do we think about Free Guy, Ryan? Since you're right next to me.
Hey, it's me. I did not want to see this movie because I hated the trailers. And then good word of mouth started happening. I'm like, I don't believe you. And then you guys started watching it, and then I watched it, and this movie is really good, you guys. I think it's pretty good.
Ben.
Well, I said it last week when we, Brandon, you and I talked about this when we were talking about our weeks, and I absolutely love this movie. This is my favorite. As of right now, this movie for me is better than Ready Player One.
I really
that was
wish
not
Ben,
a high bar to
stop
clear.
doing that, because if you say
every movie I've seen this year is better than Ready Player One.
every movie I've ever seen is better than Ready Player One, no, that's overly mean. But you always say this movie is better. I like the movie better than Ready Player One. You should like so many before you get to Ready Player One. There should be 100 movie lists.
He's making a video game movie comparison.
Yes,
I understand.
Yes,
I know,
you
but he
ass.
always does.
I mean, like, but I also think, like, obviously, like, obviously, it's obviously a superior film.
Is it better than Last Action Hero? I don't know.
That's where it gets
very
dicier.
similar type of movie.
I haven't seen Last Action Hero in like 20 years, so
Yeah,
I
no,
can't
I was
comment.
the same way.
Sparks, well, why don't you go?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I saw it twice this week, so that's obviously, like, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's marketed terribly.
Horribly.
What a horrible disparity between marketing and final product.
Looking back, the only thing of the marketing I liked was the Deadpool and Korg reaction.
It's not even in the movie.
I'm so happy for my girl Jodie Comer getting to do this. She's awesome. I've become a big fan of her in the past year, and I'm so happy for her having this. She's got The Last Duel lined up.
Yeah.
She's going to become a household
Where
name.
do you know her from again?
Killing Eve.
Killing Eve, right.
I highly recommend everybody watches it. She's the reason to watch that show. She's great on it.
Is she Eve?
She is not. She's the person who wants to kill Eve.
Oh,
Get it, because they're killing Eve.
Gotcha.
Yeah, before we go, I cannot say this.
He needs vindication.
No, I don't need vindication.
He
But
told me how.
Adona Zedek, I totally butchered that.
Adoni Zedek.
Adoni Zedek says, "I want to know everything. Give me everything. Spoil the whole world for me.
Hi,
We
Marty.
most certainly will." And then he said, "I support your barb." And I'm talking about video game movies. God damn it!
I get you.
Obviously, every other movie
Marty-
is better
Marty,
than Ready
go-
Player One.
Marty, go
Frack.
see the movie for sure. You're gonna
Yes.
love this.
Yeah, you would like
That's
it a
our
lot.
friend Marty.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then go see Wreck-It Ralph, and then Wreck-It Ralph 2, and then keep going down the line of movies
And then watch
that have
Last
video
Action
games in
Hero.
them. The Last Action Hero,
Even
and
though it's
then
a good
probably
movie.
start Ready Player One. Anyway, I'm done with the bit. I promise.
Listen.
Are you?
Listen.
Yes.
It's just a sweet, sweet fantasy, baby.
I adore this movie. This is not my favorite movie of the year. I don't know what it is yet, but this will definitely meet my top 10 movies of the year.
This didn't have
at least.
a green night in it, so sorry. That's
Are you
Bar's
sure? Are you sure about that?
I didn't see the deleted scenes.
I did go back to watch the first trailer, and I do remember the very first trailer, 1800 years ago.
Mhm.
That I was interested. It got me like interested in the movie, and I was probably going to see it anyway. And then it was marketed for the next decade of our lives. And I just got sick of it.
poorly.
And
Marketed
poorly.
poorly.
Yeah.
Each time worse than the last.
Like, now that I've seen the movie, I know what it is. They don't lean into what makes the movie good at all.
No.
Like, none of the heart, none of the fun, none of like a guy trying to
And-
like become something. Like, none of that stuff.
There's kind of a benefit in the fact that, like, when I saw it, none of the best bits have been ruined for
That's
me.
true,
Not
yeah.
a single one, because none of them have been shown in the trailers. And
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, all this really hits. And I'm like, boy, but the marketing was so bad.
Yeah. There are moments in the trailer that we see as like in the end of the trailer that are in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And I for a movie that had like 4 or 5 trailers, the fact that they didn't show, like Spark said, the best bits is honestly shocking.
Yeah.
Like
'Cause
they didn't eventually spoil
Because
something.
I think like the best stuff in the movie is like a lot of the smaller stuff. Even though it is a big fun movie, like
Yeah.
the stuff that I think about are some of these smaller jokes and some of the smaller like human moments that like you don't do in trailers.
And I think everyone shines. I love Jodie Comer, and I love Steven from Stranger Things.
Joe Carey?
Joe,
Not Joe Carey.
No.
Jojo
It's a-
Rabbit.
Nah,
Anyway,
his
he-
name is Joe, right?
Anyway, as far as looking it up, I'll just say what my thought
Yeah.
was. I think they're both great. I think their chemistry works. I think their characters work really well in the script.
Joe Keery.
Joe Keery.
Kiri.
I really enjoy the two dynamic, and I'll wait for this one. Actually, this one, my favorite part, one of my favorite parts of the movie. I don't want to. I think we'll wait to get to
Yeah.
it.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Actually, I might just say it. It's at the end when they come together, and then they come together and they're like, oh, and then it cuts to black before they kiss,
Yeah.
because we got to get to the real love story of the movie.
Yes, which is Buddy and Guy.
Which are Buddy and Guy
God
reuniting.
damn it, I agree with you.
When that happened, I was like, oh, that's too bad we don't get the emotional resonance. And then Buddy, and I'm like, oh, this is why.
The second Buddy shows up, when he comes back, I'm like, yes, Buddy's in there,
because Buddy's death makes me cry.
I was shocked. Because like it's not like these are like they have like a lot of real depth.
Yeah.
But like it feels so real. It's like, no, man, I'm gonna be okay. Things will be all right. I might die
Buddy-
now, but like I'm here helping my friend.
This was the best day of my life.
Yeah, as he's about to die. I'm like, oh my god.
I freaking love the conversation because there are so many things about this movie that could just like resonate with me on a personal level, and also what's going on in the world as of right now. But the conversation with between Guy and Buddy when Guy is at Buddy's apartment.
Oh
Damn
my
it, that's what I was
God.
gonna bring up. That
Yeah,
it's the
so
best line in the movie.
yeah, it's like
It's the best
Just
scene in the movie.
when they're talking, it's like because that's when Guy realizes, holy shit, I'm an NPC, I'm not real.
Yeah.
And then he's talking to
So
Buddy
what?
about it, and Buddy's like, is this not real? What you and I are going through? Are
I am
us
helping
talking?
my best friend
No,
get
no.
through a tough
Oh, yeah.
time.
Importantly, because this concept has been done in other films and it's always handled not this way,
Yeah.
which is that he's like, okay, so I'm not real. So what?
Yeah.
What do you mean, so what? And he's like, even if I'm not real and all this is fabricated and you're not real,
This
moment
moment
is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right here, right
It's
now,
the
what
good
we're
shit.
doing, that's real.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
enough.
And like the other thing that I remember earlier in the film is like right when Guy gets the glasses and he's talking about it, it's like we can do so much more than just go to work, clock in and clock out every day.
Yep.
And I know that, and I know that's like the slippery slope for like Guy finding out exactly what this world really is. But at the same time, I'm just sitting there going, "Oh hell yeah, it can't be more than I'm doing
This
right
this
now."
is very much like, hey, you don't have to live a mundane life, regular person.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that when Guy starts glitching. Well, not really glitching, but when his AI is unlocked, because he sees Jodie Comer, he affects the other people in the world in different ways. When Steven, I can't remember his character name now.
Joe
Keys.
Keys.
When Keys looks through the individual NPC AI and it's like, she learned how to make a cappuccino through trial and error. I was so proud.
Yeah.
I was so
Oh
proud.
my God,
Hold up.
that's-
Mag is saying that even a security guard cried.
Yeah.
When that man was a damn
God,
hero.
that security guard was a goddamn
Yeah.
hero.
Oh, so good with all the
So
security
good.
guys at Tsunami.
That-
It's like,
It was early on in the movie that I knew I was really gonna like this movie, and it's when he goes to get a cup of coffee and he wants a frappuccino, and she's like, you get a cup of coffee. What do you?
There's a tank in the background that's
That just
putting
like,
his gun
and then
on him.
Yeah.
you get the slow turn to the angle, and it's
Yeah.
just like, I'm sorry, you get coffee every day, and it's like,
you get medium
I think
coffee.
I'd like a cappuccino, and everyone in the place is like,
My favorite
No.
line. It's the cop, Officer Johnny's like, I gotta shoot you.
yeah, no, he's
No,
like,
not
somebody's
only
about
that,
to get shot.
Not only that, there is a freaking tank
That's
in
what
the
Brandon was
that's what
saying.
I
yeah,
said,
there's a tank and the tank is just swiveling over.
when
I think I gotta shoot you.
when he the three Officer Johnny moments are
Officer
really
Johnny!
fun. Are really funny to me when he gets hit by a car and he's just
So
like,
good.
Officer Johnny.
Crack,
Why is
crack
he yelling
the
his
F
name?
up.
I love it.
Crack the F up at that one.
So good.
So I really like that bit too. I thought that bit was great. Really love that scene. It does confuse me because the rest of the film, the world doesn't react to him going
Yeah,
against
that's true.
code, and I'm like, why was there and like I thought the room was fine. The tank part is the part that throws me. I'm like, it's almost like there's something built in to stop the AIs from doing that.
Yeah.
But that never comes up again.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I don't care because the movie's too good
Yeah.
and that scene was too enjoyable. So I don't
Right.
really give a shit. But the logic doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's fair. There's a lot of things in this movie that when I first saw the trailer, I was like, "There's no way this film could be as inventive as it really should be for being in a video game." And
Yeah.
quite honestly, I thought it was.
It was.
I
Oh,
thought they
so-
nailed the world.
Surprise, surprise. It blew my expectations out of the freaking water.
This is something Ryan and I talked about where you can tell that this is written by people who know about video games.
Right.
Like, this is not just making up video game bullshit. Like, this is obeying like the rules and the jargon of how these video games are built,
And it
to
feels
what level
natural.
you can with a film.
Yeah, and
but
feels,
it is doing it right.
I know Zach Penn was one of the writers. I think it was Zach Penn and one other guy who wrote this.
Zach
movie.
Penn's he's a big old nerd. Oh yeah.
He wrote
like
many Marvel movies.
It never talks down to you, and it never oversimplifies or overcomplicates. Like it's exactly what it needs to be every line for like big, because like if you don't play video games, you could still enjoy this movie 100%. It explains everything to you.
There's things in this world that I really appreciate, things in the background if you watch it. Obviously there's a lot of chaos happening, but there's like a car that's constantly changing its colors, like the user is changing the color of the car. I really like that. There's
the guy running into the wall over
the guy
and over
running
in
into the wall and then glitching,
Mhm.
and then he glitches.
Uh-huh.
My favorite thing, one of my favorite laughs in this movie is after guy, like, he's sad and out of nowhere he gets punched in the face. Now that's funny, but then he runs around and punches the guy behind him in the face, and that's all blurred. That was freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
I was in stitches.
Lot of I think there's some pretty good cameos. I am a Channing Tatum super fan.
So good.
He drops out of the sky when he's dropping
I
out of the sky
knew-
in the beginning.
I knew he was going to be doing the Fortnite dances and
Yeah,
stuff like that, because
yeah.
I'm like, there's no way you get Channing Tatum, who loves dancing.
Oh, he
and
danced
he's
so
not
good.
doing a bunch of dances.
He comes into the screen, and he's the first character we see. And I turned to Zara, I go, "Is that Channing Tatum?"
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, even I'm sitting there going, that can't be Channing Tatum.
To be
there's-
fair, I
is it?
said that too. I was like, "That can't be," until he took off his glasses.
Yeah,
Like,
then like when we
damn.
see him in the thing, it's like, and then it's Channing Tatum. It's like, oh
Re-
shit,
Revengeman Button.
That's the best name.
I love that name.
Every time his mom comes into the room and he's just screaming as Channing Tatum.
Okay.
It's
Ben,
like,
remember we
you
met
brought
that
it
guy
up.
at Comic-Con?
well, yeah, we totally met that guy at Comic Con.
Okay, you brought up the mom thing, so now I want to talk about it. This is one of my biggest problems with this film. I think the mom thing is funny, like the idea of his character suddenly shouting at her.
Yeah.
Funny. I'm tired of, and have been for a long time, of the like punching down nerd joke where it's Tina Fey, by the way, and Tina Fey's like, "You're 22 living in my house, there is no God." And I'm like, cool, that's like really not representative of our times or being socially consciously aware.
I thought that was
It's
pretty funny.
also cool. Like it's a narrative that really sucks that we're still doing it. I'm like, nerd culture has evolved at this point, and also it's super white based. It sucks that we're still doing that, because the whole reason why that's even been steeped in our culture, where it's like you as you know, young people should be getting out of the house as quick as possible, going, getting a job, establishing your own family.
My mother.
That's white culture based, because non-white cultures aren't like that. They have different family community
They're stronger together.
structures
Yeah.
inside of America, and so that's just pushing that agenda. That thing has been there for a long time, and Free Guy's not guilty of pushing that agenda, but I am tired of that narrative still lingering. Like every bit that is based around that. It's not the only one that's like that. There's also the line that like bothers me because it's not in Millie's character, but she has the thing
Is it
where
the
like
virginity one? Yeah,
it's the one where he says, she says, "Go out there and be a good guy." And he's like, "No, I'll be a great guy." And she's like, "Cool, enjoy your lifetime supply of virginity." And I'm like, why are we still doing this, guys?
Oh, see, that one didn't bother me. The one in the beginning when he talks about, when she says to the guy about like living in his mom's basement, or
Yeah, that one
really
bothers
doesn't bother me.
that one
Yeah.
bothers me too. Like it's I'm just we're past this. Like we should be
This
past
movie
this.
wasn't punching down to anyone else, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh yeah, you still live with your mom? That sucks. Like
For a game that's like so aware of like how video games work, the vast disparity of like people who play video games and things like that, like it's wild to me that we're still doing those kind of bits.
Mhm.
And for me, like I find them at this point like they're just super degrading, and it's not even like, oh, I'm taking it personally or something like that. It's just, why are we doing like who are we punching down for? Like there are so many people in our country who can't afford to not live with their parents, and like
The
why
amount-
should they be shamed for like taking
22.
support from a system of family and love that they
Yes.
want to? Like if you're living at home, that's not something to be ashamed of.
Also,
anymore.
22 is not old. You're
No,
in
God, no.
college.
That was the other part.
How
of
many
it.
of you guys still lived at home when you were 22?
That's
Like,
the youngest. That's the youngest age I've heard for this kind
Yeah.
of bit. Like when it's like in the 30s,
If
40s.
he's
I'm
30,
like,
that's a
okay, I
different
get
story.
it.
Yeah.
But this is 22, and I'm like, that is not insane.
When I was 22, I was still in school.
Yeah,
and I was still
exactly.
living with my parents when I was like 25.
Anyway, that's like my biggest problem with the film is I'm so tired of that.
Yeah.
And I thought those bits sucked.
Yeah.
I didn't think I needed them. I'm so done with that idea, especially like that toxic idea of like, oh, you shouldn't be living with your parents at 22. I'm like, are you crazy in this economy?
I can't
Get out
afford
of
it.
here.
Well, also even then, I mean, because he's saying like you totally gotta do a shout out to my streamers, my Twitch streamers. Like, Twitch streamers, they make some money. I mean, maybe not a whole lot of money, but some of them they make.
You're
bank.
right. You're right, though. You're
if
right.
This, and if this guy,
he's supposedly like a popular Twitch
yeah,
streamer.
and if this guy is a popular Twitch streamer, which I'm
we
going to
we see other real life,
and
Twitch
all of those other
streamers.
people who are on screen, they're all millionaires. Everybody. So like the fact that this kid is a streamer and he's in his,
yeah, because after that, I mean, I laughed at the jokes with the guy and the mom, but also I'm like, that is kind of a dick move. Because
Didn't even think about it. Sorry, I was just doing the thing. Sorry.
Anyways, I was because I mean those. The more you bring it up, it's like, oh yeah, that is kind of because we should be past this.
Again, like I think the bit of his character in the game world breaking the dialogue moment and shouting at the mom that like guy can't see, that's funny. It's the context of the mom thing that I think is like gross. Frankly, I think it's just gross. Like we shouldn't be doing it anymore. It's stupid.
And when with him saying it's like, oh, you gotta look at my followers, you gotta do this, and he has this giant mansion, which I assume it's like this guy has made a name for himself in the streaming circle.
Yeah,
he should definitely be a Twitch partner by this point. And I mean, I'm not a Twitch partner myself, but
he might not be making millions, but he'd be making enough to live on his own.
Yes,
you've got a fair point.
Like if I was 22 years old and I had that many followers on Twitch, oh, you bet your ass
you're absolutely correct.
While we're going, let's stick on the negative train because I don't have that many negatives. I might be alone on this, but I didn't find Taika Waititi particularly funny. I thought most of his lines were kind of awful.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I really liked him actually.
I thought he was trying way too hard and like he's doing the Taika thing, but like I don't think they utilized him well enough. It's like, yo, what's up, boy, big sucker? Like, wow, yelling's funny.
Yeah, I don't sit in the same place as Ryan. I think that he is successfully insufferable.
I feel that that's what he's supposed to do.
No, I agree. That's why I'm saying
but
he's successfully insufferable.
Like successfully, yes, I didn't find him successful. Like I know what they were doing, and for me, like it grated. Which is not something I find him like he write the script, and usually when he writes himself, he's funny.
Yeah.
I thought his gangster boy like was just a little too much for me.
I
think he wasn't in the movie too much though.
Yeah, I agree with that. But one of the things I actually do like about Taika Waititi is how he's essentially the embodiment of like EA and Activision Blizzard pre the sexual assault allegations.
I do.
Well, the reason why I make that comparison is because EA, Activision Blizzard, a bunch of big AAA companies, especially Activision, maybe not so much on Blizzard's part, is because his whole thing is about making money, making sequels, making just as much bang for your buck as just like raking in all the dough.
Also being old and trying to be young.
Yeah, that too. So like when you get Keys and Millie, they're like, hey, our game would have sold. He's like, I ran the numbers. The numbers say otherwise. It's like, you don't know that. He's like, oh, well, you just need to make money. And that's his whole thing, which is what EA has done, obviously, with Star Wars Battlefront 2, with the loot box systems, Battlefront, or not Battlefront, Activision, with when they scoop up studios who make great games like Toys for Bob or other great studios. It's like that made really good games. They get scooped up and like, you're on Call of Duty now.
Yeah,
it's like, but we want to do this. We made an amazing Crash Bandicoot game. Crash is back, y'all. It's like, yeah, that's cool and all, but COD makes us more money.
Yeah, this is very much a very true to what's happening in the gaming industry now. Yeah. I do like Taika's character. I like that he could have been like the big businessman, and he also could have been really dumb, but he's not. He's actually smart, and he is a like programmer, and he like doesn't know what he's doing. He's just evil. So I like that it didn't make him incompetent. He's just not as good as the other guys.
Yeah.
For sure. I one other like negative, and it's a much smaller one, is just the character of Mouser. Not overall, but as far as
Mouser.
Utkarsh and Budkar, he's the one also like on Keys level who's working under Antoine.
He's the guy who he's the guy who wears the rabbit suit.
Yes. So my only complaint about him is just like when it comes to the end and he's like
his turn is so fast.
His turn to Keys, I don't think like his relationship with Keys is well set up in the earlier part of the film.
Yes.
It does feel like he's more in Antoine's pocket, and then he's like later at the end, like, Keys is my boy. And I'm like, is he? Because like there's been plenty of signs up to this point that you're doing something shitty and you've just gone along with it. Like once Antoine hits the point where he's like boot all the players out and kill their accounts, that's the moment when he should stand up, but instead he waits till the servers, and I'm like, I don't necessarily buy your on Keys side.
Yeah, he's more negative with Keys than positive. Otherwise, I would have believed his turn.
Yeah,
but the turn is a little like, oh, this had to happen.
We're lacking a scene where like he actually is Keys' boy, like he says, and I'm like, again, really minor. doesn't hurt the film really. Just kind of wish that was a little more fleshed out more than anything, just so that character was stronger.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I didn't hate him, but I did think his turn was like, oh, he has to be the good guy now. I
mean,
guess, yeah.
I kind of saw it coming when he sees Keys walking out with all of his stuff, and then Taika Waititi's character Antoine is like, "Hey, I stole their build," and he's like, "Wait, you stole his
Right,
stuff."
but that's the end.
But yeah,
when
you're
they're
right, that
walking
is.
into the servers, that's not when he tells him boot out all the characters and kill them all. That's not when he asks, is there something beyond the horizon? And he says, screw it, drop Dude in. We got to get rid of him.
Dude,
Boot all the players out of the game. Like, this is like, there are so many signs before them where, like, if he is on Key's side already, then he should have been asking these questions sooner, done something. But they make him Antoine's bitch up to a point that's a little untenable for the character.
Yeah.
And that's, again, like, minor, but it is something that I'm like, that kind of sucks. More than anything, I like the actor enough. I want that character to be better. I think that character is a little too two-dimensional.
Yeah.
There's way more. I didn't realize this was a Disney movie, first of all.
I forgot.
There was so much like good referential stuff that didn't feel like it was too much or like out of place. Like the Avengers moment. I think it's a good moment. And I don't think it's like it's done too much, and especially it helps when you have the Chris Evans cameo.
So the references in this movie that I absolutely love are like the Mega Buster, the portal gun. They're subtle. They're not in your face like
the Scorpion tank.
Yeah, the Scorpion. They're not in your face. It's like, hey, if you know it, cool. But if you don't worry about it. You're fine.
Yeah.
Like the sight gags for the Avengers shield, the Captain America shield, and the lightsaber. Those were funny over the top gags that I loved.
I just kind of looked at it like, it's a like Fortnite gets all these licenses.
Fortnite does it. Yeah.
So like
100%.
I just figured it was that.
Yeah.
Fortnite's one of them.
Yeah, Fortnite's in the game.
That's
too.
the unicorn.
I had
Yeah.
figured.
Yeah.
And Fortnite is very much like a very, very much a 1-for-1 of what they're.
It's GTA Fortnite.
It's
Yeah.
GTA Fortnite, so they're hearkening to like the popularity of Fortnite and that kind of thing. So it makes sense. And I do think like the licensing things feel in place.
Yeah.
They feel like they're just as present as like Sonic in Wreck-It Ralph and things like that, where I'm like, that's appropriate and not like taking away from the story of the film, not taking away from what we're doing. So I did like those. I wish that they hadn't all been kind of ruined for me before I saw it, but it still was cool.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Not all, but like I knew Chris Evans was in the movie. I didn't know the context, but I did know before I saw it because that had gotten it out. I knew that the Mega Buster was in it, and I knew that the Fortnite hammer was somewhere in it. So I was looking for those things. I didn't know about the shield moment, but some of these things I knew. And this one, I wish I hadn't seen whatever TV spot it was that ruined Dude for me.
Oh, I didn't see Dude.
That's not a TV spot, my friend.
Whatever
That's
it
the
is.
fourth trailer.
So, okay, whatever. I don't think because I purposely, that was the last trailer, right?
I mean, it could have been seen in theaters.
No, I think it was like a TV spot in front of YouTube or something that did it. But I did know about Dude. I wish I hadn't. I wish Dude had been a surprise.
Actually,
that's the only. I know we talked about before. They didn't spoil the big moments in the trailers. I mostly stand by that, but Dude is the only one that I wish wasn't spoiled by the trailers.
Yeah,
Dude was spoiled for me not because of a TV spot, but because
Fortnite.
Yep, I logged into Fortnite,
That's so
and
funny.
there's this Dude skit. I'm like,
Ah!
why does this look like a scary, jacked up Ryan Reynolds?
Sure,
this is scary. And then of course, once we get to the scene in the movie where Dude comes out, I'm like,
I love Dude.
He's evil Tally.
God, he is evil Tally. Also, another
catchphrase.
He punches so hard, and yet his hands are so soft.
Also, Ryan, another thing that this movie kind of comments on of current video game developer culture, when they release stuff that's completely buggy and unfinished.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. It's like when Dude's walking around, he's like, catchphrase.
There are 3 things I love in life: kicking ass, TBD, third thing here.
God, that's like they've announced that this is gonna get a sequel. Dude is the guy that like I thought he was perfect for this. This is the type of thing where I'm scared that like they'll put Dude like and he's like the second character in the movie or something, and like they'll just overuse him and kill him. And like he's so perfect.
I hope he's like only in the beginning and the
I
end.
do too, because like that I could see how they could
friendly gesture
ruin that character, man.
Oh God, when he just says friendly gesture,
his face looks so weird at times, but he's a video game character, so I'm like, I don't
feel
care.
like that's okay because you do. It's like it's scary. It's very uncanny valley sort of spiel, but at the same time, it's like this is he's unpolished video game character.
Yeah, he's not
that
done.
Just got dropped in. And even the programmer was like, let's remember this moment before we all got fired, and then they pop him in.
Yeah, Dude.
Oh yeah, Mag also has a comment. He says, "Rumor has it that Hemsworth was supposed to cameo in."
That's so funny. So on
Funny Instagram post.
So on Twitter, Ryan Reynolds posted all of the cameos, and I luckily I stopped looking at the pictures when I realized what was happening. But on the thread, Chris Hemsworth posted, "Haha, thanks for including me, bro." So I thought Chris Hemsworth was in the movie.
Ryan Reynolds also
Oh.
responded and said, "Chris Evans said you were busy bulking up or something."
That's pretty good. So
Well, going back to the whole Evans thing, I lost my shit when when he says
What
what
the
the shit, and my entire theater was in stitches.
I was so happy to see this opening night. I saw this on Thursday.
Ooh.
Because I had a packed theater, and that was an experience I haven't had
Since pre-pandemic.
Since
since
Endgame.
pre-pandemic. Because Black Widow didn't even give me it. Like Alex Trebek shows up in this movie.
Oh
and
yeah.
it's his
Oh,
last.
yeah.
It's his last as Alex. Is that his last time?
my
we'll see
my
Alex
theater,
Trebek?
my first theater, not the one I saw with Ryan, but like my first theater was a little more crowded than the one Ryan and I went
Yeah.
to, and like there weren't that many people, but you did hear the like,
Aw.
oh,
Yeah, my whole theater almost. I was close to the front, so I didn't see the whole thing. But like people would be like, little light claps, being oh, and like a sad sigh. Like it was really
Aw.
sweet. And then every comedy moment landed harder because of the fact that it's a communal space. We're all kind of having this infectious laughter. I always loved watching good comedy, specifically
Mhm.
in a crowded theater. The Chris Evans moment and the lightsaber moment, you couldn't hear the dialogue. My theater was so loud with laughter.
I love that.
Like the second the lightsaber turns on, the Star Wars music swells. It's just like
Well done.
because
Well done.
I'm sitting there going, how the hell do they? Oh, that's right, 20th Century Studios is now owned by Disney.
Yep,
They
yep.
can do that.
I do wonder if it was reshot after the deal, because I do know this film was in production when the deal was going through.
I bet like they were considering it, and then it was like, hey, can we do it? And they're like, yeah, we'll own it. Like,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Why not?
Probably.
It's like, hey, can we please do this funny joke? And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Jodie Comer is fantastic in this.
I
I
agree.
was
Multiple
I was
accents.
nervous that she wasn't going to have enough to do, and I thought she did great. I think that they do a really great job with her as Molotov and her as Millie. I particularly think she really nails the scene where she finds out that guy's an NPC. The
He
wave
found
of
the
things that
button.
she goes through, and she's like, and I'm saying it out loud, why is it so hot in here? And
Yeah.
all the things that she's expressing, I think she's just killer. I adore her. I think she's fantastic
Sparks.
in everything she does.
Oh, he found the button.
Yeah, it's I was honestly, that's a bit I remembered from the trailer, and I remembered it because that was the bit that told me up to that point I thought she was only playing an NPC. I
Mhm.
saw that bit in a trailer and I'm like, okay, so she's a person, because I recognized that was the same person.
Right. Yeah. The trailer kind of, you're wondering, like, are these going to be two NPCs falling in love? or-
Right. And so I was happy to know that she would be playing both. And I was nervous about that joke not working, but it did work in context. I thought it was
Yeah.
pretty good.
And stuff I didn't like in the trailer, now that I have context, works for me better. Because like they showed the kiss in the trailer, and I was like, oh man, they're like, I already know there's gonna
They
be
show
like a
they show both kisses in the
yeah,
trailer.
and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be like a forced romance, whatever. But like in the moment, like God, the idea of her being the code needed to unlock his AI is like
Oh, I
that's
just
like
wrote this
genius.
down.
That is like genius. That's so good.
I just wrote that. So there. I don't mind saying this now. At the end, when he's saying goodbye to her,
Mhm.
and he's like, this is gonna be the last time, whatever. He talks about, he's like, I'm a love letter.
Yeah, I'm in love with you, and maybe that's my program. But
someone
programming-
wrote that
someone wrote that
programming.
programming. I'm a love letter to you, and the author's out there.
That's
and
that's
that's one of the
That-
best lines I've ever heard.
Well, and what I loved about it is that it was this movie has really good payoff to its setups. One of those is like you get the introduction of they do this so well. We meet Keys, and then we move from Keys to a video from 2015, and it's just a Gamescom video, so it gives you all the information naturally of an interview with him, and then you see his partner Millie, but you don't see her at first. It's just good. It's good storytelling. And he says, I view all messages as code, all forms of messages. And so that's like him. You are authoring these things. And so that setup is paid off in that moment
numbers don't
so
lie.
well, because you heard everything that she needed to hear for that to land in that moment.
Yeah.
You are on the journey.
And even then, like, you can tell because the interview asks is like, so you two look closely, and then she's like, and then of course Millie is the first one to say, oh no, we're just like, we're best friends, really good friends. And you can even see Keith is like, like you can tell in his face that he's like, oh no,
But you know what?
He feels something there, but he can't do anything about it because A, he's
But
on
you-
camera, B, he doesn't want to ruin this relationship.
You know what? You don't get it until after, many times after, because you don't quite catch that his face does change until you kind of think back on it, because it's not overt. So the love story is always there through Guy, but it's
Yes.
not overt until
Yes.
it needs to be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I fully agree, and like this script is so smart. It's so impressively smart. The way that they do the part where she's being told by him that you can reawaken him, you can do the thing, and she stops the video. You hear her hit pause and it cuts it off, and I'm like, well, that was kind of rude and weird.
Mhm.
And then she has to go back and listen to the rest of that video later to get, he was saying it.
Yeah.
He was saying it then.
And he loves
And
me.
you know what I noticed the second time I watched that, in that the first time, because we hear him say, and the first time she's watching the video, we hear him say, so I based it off the person who was sitting next to me, who was doing, and she stops it there.
Yep.
That line is read differently the next time we see it to sound lovelorn, because that's in the moment where the movie is supposed to tell you now she's cued in to what she's been missing.
Right.
And I think that's really smart.
It's so smart. It's such because we're talking about how smart the script is. One of my
Blinds.
favorite things is the blinds.
The blinds is so
The
good.
blinds are present, and I'm just like, oh, that's just like a weird thing he does, and then it keeps happening. And then the fact that it's the payoff of it is not just the fact that it reveals the answer of what they need, but that it's based in such good understanding of how video games work.
Mhm.
That the reason he's seeing it is because he didn't scrub reflections.
Yeah.
In a game. Like I'm like, this is incredible. What an intelligent idea.
I love how when you see the clip of Revengeman going into the level, and it's like, what is this? And then she sees it, and of course everything gets wiped, and it's like, you said you saw it. I was like,
He's very expressive with his body.
but and then when the guy was like, oh yeah, I've seen this part, I've seen this, I'm sitting there going, we've never seen this in the entire movie. This is the first time we saw it. How does Guy see it? And then it's revealed through the reflection. It was like, that's freaking genius.
You know, the moment where they reboot Free City, I wasn't necessarily sad about Guy. I was sad about Cappuccino Lady. I was like, she tried so hard to make those cappuccinos.
She made a cappuccino.
Now that's erased. And the girl who wrote the scathing indictment.
But she's doing new things.
Yeah, now she's doing new things. We get a happy ending for
Scathing
her.
indictment of
Gender roles.
Gender roles.
Yeah.
Like, I was so proud of these two NPCs.
Yeah.
Well
The
done,
guy with the
guys.
hands, and he's like, nope, sorry, it's too
It's
uncomfortable.
such
I
a
can't do it. It feels too unnatural.
so many good comedy bits, such a well thought out script. Ryan Reynolds, like I kind of understand, especially like before the movie came out, there was a lot of like, oh cool, like we're doing a movie where the NPC who's the background guy is going to figure out that he can be the hero, and it's a white guy, and like
Yeah.
I get that. I think the reason it should be Ryan Reynolds is because he does earnestness so well. He makes all of this so casually believable that all his experiences are his first experiences.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of actors can do it the way he does it. And
He
I think
sells it,
that's
yeah.
he sells it so well. His he never feels like it's not sincere.
Every hey Goldie in the morning, like he must have done 1,000 of those takes
Yeah.
over the course of this movie, and every one of them, like, yep.
Good morning, Goldie. Good
he's-
fucking
he's
morning,
always-
Goldie.
He's always bringing it. Yeah.
He's got the energy for it. He handles the honesty of like this being his first experience with all of these things, the way he plays all these moments. I think the one that stands out is the turnaround, and he just turns around in a circle. He's like, okay. Like he lands all that so well. I'll go be a great guy. Like Ryan Reynolds is so capable of handling the comedy of it that this movie needed, and the sincerity of it.
Yeah,
And that's why I think like he's fantastic for the role.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that I really like about this movie is how the video game is visualized from the outside.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's really it, because once we go outside, it looks like a video game. We see,
But you can see how it becomes the
Yeah.
real life
and when
interpretation.
we're in the game, one of my favorite little touches is that when we're in the game, all the players wear sunglasses. Out of the game, they don't.
Right.
They're not wearing sunglasses. And I think that's
It's
really
something
cool.
that only the NPCs see.
Yeah, and I
Mhm.
think that's a really cool idea.
I
and really
agree.
inventive.
They even say is like, oh, we can't. That's a sunglass person. We don't talk to the sunglass person.
Right.
Yeah,
Classism, baby, I love it.
because those are all because they're
It's-
programmed to love the heroes.
Mhm.
And
the
it's a representation of their HUD display.
Yeah,
The
their
HUD, yeah.
Yeah, the heads up display.
Yeah.
yeah. I thought that was really clever, and I think that all the manipulations of like the world, like when the cops are the two programmers are chasing after Guy,
Make
and
the ramp.
they make the building is morphing around them as, as they're running up the thing to get him.
That's right.
I think that's all really cool. The idea that the train, the murder train,
Yeah.
I thought that's all visualized really well. I was really worried about this movie, visually speaking.
I'm also really glad that like it's not time loop based.
Oh yeah,
because Ryan was talking to me about this like while we were watching. He's like, "Is this like?" While we were in the middle of it, he's like, "Is this a time loop movie?" And I'm like, "No, because like they die, but they're progressing. Like they're not forgetting the previous day's events."
Yeah. They're being
It's-
they respawn.
Yeah, they respawn, and it's kind of like
They just have routine.
Yeah, this is like an open world Fortnite GTA style game. So when after the clock passes midnight or a certain time, everything resets. So the quest restarts. So that's why after he dies, he wakes up in his bed. He's like,
There's a really great subtle line that I didn't catch till the second time, which is when he's talking to Buddy earlier, and he's like, "Do you remember that guy in the last robbery?" He's like, "The 2 o'clock or the 4 o'clock?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Dang, that's good. That's funny."
That's
Like
good,
that they
yeah.
get robbed multiple times a day, and it's like, yeah, the 2 o'clock or the 4 o'clock robbery.
There's this fun bit that I really enjoy when he's trying to level up in the montage, and he puts a guy the guy's on fire and he puts him out, and then it just turns around and the guy like hugs him, and he runs off, and the guy gets shot.
yeah,
Yeah. And then teabag.
Yeah, and I think
So-
like all the players that we see are like the way they're holding guns. One of the going back to like the world thing, like how people hold guns, like they're walking like their characters, in a video game, they're not walking like normal. And then one of the touches that I really appreciated is in the way they change guns.
Yes.
Is really well
Mhm.
visualized. They just put it
Agreed.
in the back and it just
Yeah.
disappears.
Yes.
it's very like Fortnite.
There's one where her knife turns into a pistol because she switched
Yes.
weapons. I thought that was all really cool.
Yeah.
One of the things I also love is how, especially like the bank robber scene when Guy gets the sunglasses, and it's revealed that
Sleeping.
the player are these two little girls.
Yes, I was gonna say the same. I'm really glad that a lot of the players we see are like a mix of like adults but also kids.
yeah. It's because it's like
That man is in pieces. So sleepy.
Yeah, and then like you get to the girl's like, "What's with this NBC?" And the other and her friend is just like, "Who cares? Just ice his mother," and it cuts off.
Yeah.
It's like this movie has so many really good in jokes for gamers and or anyone who like knows a little bit about gaming cultures like that. They find that hilarious.
And also like you also don't have to be a gamer to just appreciate
Yeah.
slapstick comedy like that. Because like video game graphics and like physics, like they just create silly situations. But when you do that in a movie, it's like you don't have to be a gamer to appreciate just good slapstick comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, when freaking guys jumping for their fucking ball, you hear, "I came in like a wreck." Nope.
I'm so glad that song cut off because I was like,
Me
oh
too.
no.
I'm in the same boat
Yeah.
as you. Yeah.
I thought all the needle drops, honestly,
Yeah.
were really fun.
Oh yeah.
The Wrecking Ball one, I probably wouldn't have liked it if it kept going, but since it only lasted that long, I was into it.
Yep.
Notably, I also wanted to make sure that I like Jodie Comer. I also think does a great job of matching Ryan Reynolds' sincerity. The emotional beats between them, the chemistry works really well. She's matching him on all those tones. Like I'm thinking of the interaction when she says, "Maybe we can meet in like the real world," and he's like, "Yeah." Also, like another great example of Ryan Reynolds like being so good at this is when he like commits obscene violence and his reaction to it. Like I believe it. Like when he breaks that guy's arm and he's like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry."
The chaotic nature of like this being an always online game, they could have been lazy and like not had as much chaos always happening. But if you're outside in this world, there is always shit happening in the background.
Yeah.
Like every
Yes.
single scene has something happening. It's like,
Yes.
again, they didn't have to go all out, but they did.
And the background's full of stuff like the scorpion that we talked about from Halo.
Oh, yeah.
All good stuff.
A dude just running into the wall.
It's so
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Like video game shit. Yeah.
The car just changing colors.
Man,
Man,
I
like,
think it's all really well
this
visualized.
despite being an original like IP, this is one of the best video game movies ever made.
It's one of the best
Definitely is.
movies about video games.
Yeah.
Just like Wreck-It Ralph. I put
Yeah.
it on that kind of level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's the type of thing because like for some reason video games like kind of still have like a stigma with a lot of people, and it's like this is a good enough movie where like, oh man, like video games can be fun, right? Like look guys, like terrible, it's fun, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of sincerity in this movie that we've talked about that I really resonate with. I think for me all the comedy landed. I can't think of a joke that didn't land for me in this movie. I think that's all. You want to say something, Spark?
Yeah. Cool voice cameos from a couple of people.
yeah.
John Krasinski is the guy in Shadow.
The Rock.
The Rock.
The Rock as one of the robbers.
Hugh
He's the robber who
Jackman.
gets shot, and Hugh Jackman is the informant at the beginning.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't catch that one. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, cool voice cameos for sure. The last thing I really want to touch on, and I want to make a big point of it, is the music.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Fantasy.
so the music is really good. First off, there's the fantasy, yes, which is Mariah
got
Carey.
paid.
There's a cover when he's running across the bridge
It's
at the
like
end.
slow.
That is Jodie Comer
Woo.
singing
wow.
that,
That's awesome.
which I
Beautiful
found out
voice.
this week because Ryan Reynolds posted about, which is awesome.
Oh, I remember something because Anton is destroying the servers, and I was honestly very tense during that moment.
Oh yeah,
I think it's a really tense moment, and it really works emotionally
Mhm.
because you're not sure. You're starting to get worried that he's not.
you
gonna
do
make it.
believe the stakes and
Yeah.
pins
Yeah.
and needles about it.
And
Mhm.
watching all the other NPCs run away and them saving Officer Johnny from falling off,
Yes.
all of that worked so well.
Agreed. And Buddy and the Buddy moment and everything about it. Yes,
I cried when
love Buddy.
when they embrace and like, I'm gonna come to you.
I
I'm
want the sequel to be about Buddy. I'll
Yeah,
say that
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But the other thing I want to talk about the music is the score is done by Christoph Beck.
Yes, it is.
Do you guys recognize the score? Ryan already knows the answer to this, so he can't answer.
I recognize the score. I don't know for more.
It's Paperman. Christoph Beck made the music for Paperman. He took the Paperman music and he restructured an entire score by redoing Paperman all
They did
over
a
the place.
Jungle
Their love
Cruise.
theme, Paperman.
Their Jungle
And it
Cruise.
is all over this movie.
I love the Paperman, and I really love the score, but I knew I've heard it before.
Yeah.
so I
So
wasn't
does
sure where it
so
was.
Megan, Megan loves Paperman. We
Yeah.
have 2 pieces of art of Paperman upstairs in our bedroom.
we both. That's right.
Yeah, no, upstairs in our bedroom. It's one of her favorite things in the world. So like, she was just like, the second time it happened, and it's like the first ones are subtle because it is all throughout this score. It is their love theme. That's where it's most majorly clear, but it is like intermixed in forever. This score is so trenched in Paperman, it's insane. But it's Christoph Beck, so it makes sense. And like, most people aren't gonna know or aren't gonna remember.
I really
But
like
Megan
it.
was like, "This is freaking Paperman." I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Wow.
Nothing else
Wild,
matters.
Wild. It made it really interesting for
Yeah.
us, but we
I-
love it.
I thought this. I really like the score. I still do. I don't.
Oh
know
no,
if
I
it's
do
supposed to
too.
be like
I don't
that.
think it's a problem that it's Paperman. It's
Yeah.
it's his work. Like
Yeah.
he can do it again. Like, and it's still about a love story. So that's why I think like it tonally still works and everything for me. It's just so interesting.
remember
that
this
that's what
being-
happened.
I remember this being the best thing I've heard Christoph Beck do.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
I
It sounds really good.
I generally find him okay. I don't love his scores, but I love this.
This is a good one. Yeah.
I really like Fantasy. I really like that song a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it works emotionally in the movie too, because it's like a song that the girl he likes sings, so like he puts that into the character.
Right.
I love
It all
that
makes
song.
sense. It's a good song. It's
That's
a hot
new.
It's a hot bop.
I really like Jodie Comer's cover too
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah. I this movie really works for me. I
Yeah.
love it.
I'm so glad that it's made money and people have come around to it, because it's like, man, that marketing just didn't hit, and I'm just glad a good movie is able to succeed past its
And
marketing.
I'm glad that we were able that Ben and I at least were able to convince you guys to go see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that Brandon, you convinced me to go see it.
I texted Ben. I know I told the story last week, but I don't care. I texted Ben after I got out of the movie, and I was like, Ben, you need to go see this movie. I don't care what you think.
Once the
Word-
Rotten Tomatoes,
Word of mouth had sold me enough,
Yeah.
and Megan wanted to see it, so I knew I was going to end up seeing it one way
Yeah.
or another.
Yeah.
But I am glad that we got the chance to talk
once
about
it almost hit 90% Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, oh, word.
So right before you texted me that, Brandon, Mag actually Instagram messaged me the promo posters that were spoofs of famous video games.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Like Mario 64, Doom, Animal Crossing. It's like I'm like, man, this is really good, and they are official.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
officially made. And then when you told me, it's like, hey, you should really go see this movie. I'm like, okay,
It was the Mega Buster moment where I turned to Zara and I said,
Of course it was.
Ben.
Of course it was.
and
Because
as-
I knew specifically because you were the one. I know Ryan was on the fence also, but you were the one who was like hardcore, like I don't want to see this.
yeah, those trailers.
Yeah.
Okay, so we rate
Rate guy.
Rate and final thoughts. Yeah.
Ryan.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
Cool.
I think it's really good. Blew my expectations out of the water. I just still like, sometimes marketing can be bad, but I don't think this is the case for Venom 2. I think that movie's just going to be bad.
9.5.
Yes.
I am so glad that this movie, which was marketed to me as a Fortnite GTA or more of a Fortnite ripoff that was not going to be good, turned out to be easily in my top 10 movies of this year. I absolutely love it. I'm probably gonna buy the Blu-ray the second it comes out.
Blue guy.
And
Blue shirt
I
guy.
really wanted to see this movie again. Unfortunately, I have not time. I might go see it again because I had a blast at the theater with this.
Sparks.
Yeah, I feel like I'm living between 9 and 9.5, so I'll just say 9.
Yeah, this movie, one of the things I love so much about this type of film is how sincere they are. They wear their heart on the sleeve. They're seriously hilarious.
Watch Ted Lasso next. That's super. It's positive.
I've heard
too.
it's
Yeah.
great. I've heard it's great. I love this type of film. It's super earnest. It's got a great message. It's super funny. I was in stitches. I was crying. I had an intense emotional reaction, and for all those reasons, I'm also sitting between a 9.5 and a 9. I think I'm 9. I think I'm at a 9.
Do it.
Yeah, I think I'm at a 9.
Hell yeah, baby.
All right.
All right, shall we do
I can't wait for Jodie Comer to get more major work. She's going to be a franchise person so soon, I'm sure.
Hell yeah. Get her in the X-Men.
book club?
Buckle up.
Book
Sounds
club.
good.